My family moved to Madeira area in 1840, and my family had been around for a long time. My grandparents lived on Shawnee Run, one in Indian Hill, one in Madeira, and my great uncle was chief of police for a number of years, which was a blessing, sort of. My dad graduated Madeira High School in 1933. My mother, 1936. And then there was a long space. My brother graduated in 56. I graduated in 59. My daughter graduated in 79. And it goes on and on and on. But I can't rest on their laurels. I enjoyed my childhood in Madeira. It was fun. Lots of things that you had to make up to do yourself because there weren't a lot of activities. I grew up on Maple Avenue, the only house I ever lived in. Went away to college, goodbye Maple Avenue. I never went back. And I had, my brother was 3 years older, and first grandchild on both sides. The sun rose and set, and I just slithered underneath the radar, which was a blessing. They had activities for boys, like the soapbox derby. They would close Euclid, nice hill, and these rickety things that the boys put together, race down the hill. No girls. No girls. I noticed that. Then they had marble tournaments, Hamilton County-wide marble tournament. And I think they had the finals or something at the zoo. The zoo was real small then. But my brother, of course, did very well, only because we had this great backyard with this maybe 6-foot diameter circle. And I said, what the heck is that? I was sure that that was installed for him to practice marbles. Boys only. I noticed that too. Then winter came. I'm going to shine. And snow was really, really nice. Oh, I did figure out why we had this great circle. It was something to do with the septic system. Then the snow came. I don't remember ever having snow days at the school. And it seemed to me we had a lot more snow back in the 40s and 50s than we have now. And I would guess that's pretty normal. So if the snow came just right and it was dense enough that the village, and in my heart it'll always just be a village, would shut down Laurel Avenue. And now Laurel runs right to the middle of one of the early subdivisions there, and they would put up roadblocks, maybe a mile. The distance between Maple, Fowler, and what was the other one? Well, Fowler, 2.5 blocks, seemed like an eternity. But I loved it because get the right snow. They open it up when we were in school, and then they'd close it down after school, and we would just sled right crazy. And the cars would pack it down. I mean, we would go 35 miles an hour, more or less, on our sleds or whatever we had. And the people up at the top, a family named Rushi, where are you? You remember the Rushis? They put out a 55-gallon drum filled it up with wood, and had a fire. So you trudge up the hill wearing all of your wonderful ski and snow things, which are also the things you wore to school or whatever, and get up the top, and that'd be nice ferns going, all that smoke. And you jump on your sled and head down. I know you were speeding. It was just delicious. Snow in your face, get down, and by the time you hit Maple, you were slowing down. But that was okay. So then you trudge back up the hill again. I don't know how many trips we could make in the evening, but everyone was wonderful. And girls were allowed. Imagine that. But there was one house down on Maple. The only way they could get to their driveway was from Laurel, and it wasn't really cool for them to have to not be able to access their garage when we were sledding. So he decided in the dark of night to take the ashes that he took out of his furnace, and we were all coal-fired furnaces, an abundance of ashes, and make a pass all the way across Laurel. Well, the boys decided, we'll just cover it up. So now you're racing down, and you hit this lump, ashes, snow packed, and you had, seemed like it was a ski jump. It was maybe a little bit. And it only added to our fun. We only did it more. And the people who lived there, they thought that was going to be something that would turn us off. You don't know what youth are going to do. They have a mind of their own. So we enjoyed it. I don't know how many winters that happened. It had to be the right conditions, but whenever it did, it was wonderful, wonderful. So then summer would come, and the old people there were a man and his wife and one of their sisters. They were old people. I know they were over 30. And they had an apple tree there. And they had to have an investigation as to why during apple season this house was bombarded with thump, thump, thump apples, projectile apples. So my uncle was the chief of police, and he decided he would investigate, and he did. There was no damage. No windows were broken, just a lot of thumping. And, the people doing the damage had to be home. They didn't do it late at night. But there were no boys involved. So my uncle came, talked to my dad, and asked a bunch of questions. Never asked any females. And since I was Uncle Fred's little princess, he had no children. And because of my location, he was stuck with me. Anyway, he decided that they had no basis for their complaints, and Shirley was not that sweet little girl. But I cherish those memories. I don't feel badly about the outcome. There was no crime committed, and it's okay. But looking back on my wonderful snow memories, I think, had I been a little bit more outgoing, not clandestine as I was, sometimes the old people just need a hug. And if I had presented myself and said, please don't put snow underneath on top of it. Don't put the ashes so the boys, or whoever, the boys, could put the snow on top. I didn't do that. I just couldn't. I knew they wouldn't be able to resist a cute little girl being the emissary there. So I think because you're all here, hopefully you have good memories of growing up wherever you grew up and didn't take too much, what do I want to say, badgering from old people. Kids are here to stay, and God bless them. But when I think about hugs, I hang out with old people. Almost all of them are over 30. But I started making little Swifty bracelets for the little girls in my neighborhood. I had to explain what a Swifty bracelet was. Then when a couple of boys wanted them, I sort of changed the message. And then some of the over 30s that I hang out with wanted some. So I said, heck, I just changed the little sayings that I put on. I sent some to church groups in Virginia. I have a grandson there, and I have out in California. And then I get a photo comes back, and you see hands with Swifty bracelet on there with hopefully appropriate sayings on them. And then I had a little episode with the police, and the policeman gave me a card from UC talking about mental health. And I said, I didn't realize that some of us old people, I said, well, everybody has mental health. How you handle it is up to you. Anyway, I made some bracelets, and I thought if anybody here would like to have a Swifty bracelet, I have some that say hugs. But if you take a bracelet, you have to be comfortable hugging people. And before you get arrested by the police, you sort of need to say something about, may I give you a hug? Or may I have a hug? You don't say, just don't grab them and give them a hug. And make their time, wherever, happy, because they'll have to smile when somebody's offering a hug. I even had an instance at the Goodwill drop-off place. I get there and the attendant is sobbing, and I'm thinking, are you alone? Yes. And she was afraid. And I said, trying to calm things down, I don't know anything. So I said, would you like a hug? Oh, yes. And I'm thinking, so right there was at Kenwood Road, I guess. I'm hugging this perfect stranger. She's sobbing like crazy. Anyway, she said, well, thank you. And I said, you need to call the police. She was afraid of her companion that was supposed to be working with her. I said, I'll stay till they come. So that is my story about snow. Snow is wonderful. And if anybody would like a bracelet with hug on it, and if you don't want hug, I have some left over. And I'm out of the business because I ran out of vowels. Thank you.